everybody, and welcome to the Culture and Legacy podcast, where we are having candid conversations with entrepreneurs talking about life outside of business. And this is technically episode number 0. And I'm just using this as a chance to, share the vision, the why, and who this podcast is for. There's a lot of entrepreneurship podcasts out there. There's a lot of business podcasts out there, but I feel like there's a niche here of conversations that I want to have with people, and to be able to share that with you guys as viewers and as listeners to this podcast. My name is Matthew Reed, and I am the host and will be the host of this podcast. I am an entrepreneur, but most importantly, I am a husband, I am a son, I'm a brother, I'm a friend to many. And to me, those are what drive me to aim to succeed in my business. Entrepreneurship is a funny thing. For some, it is just an opportunity to escape the 9-to-5 trap per se of corporate America or whatever country you're in, just that the job of clocking in and clocking out. For others, it's because you just have a wild imagination. You have ideas of products, services, apps, all kinds of things. Think of the Wright brothers. They had this imagination to create a flying machine, and people like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, who had this idea to create computers. And, so we have those kind of entrepreneurs who pursue ideas that may sound crazy. For others, entrepreneurship is because you have a mind of creativity that can't be placed in a box. And for most, I would say maybe you just want to change your life, not only change your life and the lives of people around you, but you want to change the world. I think it's Mark Twain that kind of explains entrepreneurship this way, where he says, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So explore, dream, discover, and just pursue these dreams that you want to do. For me, entrepreneurship is kind of summed in this story that I like to share. I remember the day that I made a student loan payment with money that I made from my business. It was my first time that I was able to actually make a payment of something that was significant. The month before it was groceries, and the month before that it was a cell phone bill. I don't know. The month before it was putting gas in my car. Next month it'll be rent, and in the following year, who knows? It'll be buying a car with cash made from my business. And that to me is entrepreneurship. The ability to be able to self-sustain and to create income, to create freedom that's not just for me, but for my wife. So yes, I am married. My wife, her name is Amanda Reed. She also is an entrepreneur. She has her creative business doing hand lettering and calligraphy. I am the guy with the camera. I do videography. I do wedding videos. I do corporate and commercial videos. I also do photography. And so those are the things that we do, and we view the lens of entrepreneurship through. So we all have something that drives us toward our goals. And for me, it is my family. Right now, it's my wife and I. Later, it may be little ones. But for now, it's just my wife, Amanda, I, and a bunch of house plants, as you can see. So who is this podcast for? There's a few people that I feel like this podcast is for. One is the entrepreneur who has drive, who has a vision and a purpose for their business, not just to make money, but to create something that is bigger than themselves, that'll last beyond them. I think if for us to have a vision of something, it's kind of the name where culture and legacy came from, the legacy aspect, to leave something that is bigger than me, that can be handed down or will just last beyond me. This podcast is also for the entrepreneur who acknowledges that, we don't talk a lot about what is going on outside of our business. Those are the kind of conversations that I really want to have. Let's talk about the truth behind running a business and hearing how other entrepreneurs who look successful and are successful in their fields of business and entrepreneurship. Let's talk to them and see how they're dealing with topics like imposter syndrome, mental health, family balance, leaving a legacy, unexpected challenges, and how to overcome them. I got into entrepreneurship. Culture is a big thing for me. We all have something ingrained in us that is allowing us to be bigger than we can even dream. And so if you share that sentiment, if you are in business for a reason that's more than just making money, I believe that you will gain a lot from this podcast. So I want to share a little bit of the why and the vision for this podcast. Some of the why is, we all have struggles and we are not alone with them. We all may be striving for work-life balance, and we need to talk about those things. I want to be able to create a place where we can have those kind of conversations. And because truly healing comes when we talk about our issues. And so here on this podcast, the Culture and Legacy podcast, we have people lined up that are going to be sharing such a good amount of topics and addressing issues that they've dealt with and that they have people in their lives who have dealt with. And let's talk about how we as entrepreneurs can overcome these things together. This is more than just community, but there's a lot of things that we can do on our own. There's a lot of things that we need to do. We do need to invite people into our lives to help keep us accountable. But one big example is mental health. I think as entrepreneurs, we're all going to deal with some sort of mental health problem within the life of our business, whether that's anxiety, whether that's stress, whether that's loneliness. And we need to know that there are other people who are dealing with these as well, and what they have done, and even bringing in mental health professionals that can help show us and walk us through how we can overcome and how we can recognize this in ourselves and in our friends. So this podcast will be very interview based. All businesses look different, but we can connect on the life outside of it. So I want to bring in people that are successful in their fields and talk about their lives. I would love to bring people on who are super successful and not even talk about business. Let's just talk about the person behind the business. How is family driving the decisions that you make? What are some struggles that you've noticed coming up that are affecting the outcome of your business? For many people, you are the business. And so if you're not 100%, then your business, can fall apart. Let's talk to some couples who are both full-time in their business and how they're learning to deal with those things. Let's talk to a couple who moved their business across the country and have experienced loneliness and struggles. And let's talk about how they've created communities to be able to get around that. And so how are our businesses as entrepreneurs affecting our families, our social life, our mental health, all those things is where the vision of this podcast is coming out of. So a few things you can expect from this podcast is, like I kind of alluded to earlier, there are a lot of podcasts out there that are offering business advice, marketing tips, sales lessons. But here at Culture and Legacy, we want to talk about the lives of the people behind those things, behind those topics that affect all of us. Or we want to talk about the topics that are affecting all of us, but aren't talked about much. You can go anywhere to get those tips. You can get marketing advice. You can get a mentor. Those things are great. but we all go home to something. And I feel like there is a place that we can connect together in that something, in that place that's behind closed doors, in that place that is maybe locked in our minds, or in that place where we just don't know. We don't know where to go. Balance doesn't exist. We're being pulled left, right, front, back. We're being pulled in all kinds of directions. And we just want to know that we're not alone in these things. And you are not alone in these things. And I am willing to have the conversation because I need it for myself. And so I hope that you join me so that we can learn and grow together. Because when we can grow and learn together, the things that we can do is uncountable. It's beyond what we can dream. I think us as entrepreneurs, at the heart of it, we do want to be able to grow our business. And there are experiences that other people have created or that have lived through that we can learn from and take for ourselves. There's nothing new under the sun. And so I think that this will be extremely fruitful for you as a listener and as a viewer to be able to dig in and join the conversation in this podcast. I'm an entrepreneur and I want to leave a legacy, and I don't want to leave a trail of hurt along the way. And I believe you are in a similar place. You want to be successful. You want your family to thrive. You want your community and your friendships to be rock solid. And you want to be mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally well, so that all these other things that you're living through, your business and your family and your community, can all feel the impact of what you're doing through your life and through their lives. So thank you for listening to this Intro and Vision podcast. If this is you, if this pulls at you, if you feel like this is part of a conversation that you want to have, then definitely subscribe to the podcast. This will be on YouTube as well, so you can subscribe there, comment, share, interact with me on all my social media tags and social media accounts. Sorry. And let's grow and learn together, because together is where we will succeed. Thank you. Bye.